At the beginning of the story, we are introduced to Alice, a highly skilled gamer who had never lost a game. He was also knowledgeable about mathematics and cars. Alice lived with his father and elder brother. Despite his talents, he didn't have a job. Because of this, his dad thought he was useless. This strained relationship was why Alice disliked being at home. In the next scene, we are introduced to his friend Karubi, who worked at a bar but was fired because he was having an affair with his boss's wife. Then we meet his second friend, Chota, who worked at a corporate job, but most of his earnings were taken by his mother at the end of each month. From their lives, it's clear that all three were unhappy. One day, the three friends gather to hang out, but they feel down and disillusioned with their lives. They wish they could escape to another world. Determined to have some fun, Karubi picks up Alice and carries him into the middle of the street, while Chota records the scene. As cars swerve to avoid them, the boys run around, causing chaos and eventually an accident. Realizing the police are on their way, they rush into a subway station and hide in a bathroom stall. Suddenly, the power goes out. When they step out, they are stunned to find the entire station deserted, and the streets outside are eerily empty. The group splits up to search their homes and workplaces, only to find that their families and friends have disappeared as well. They also discover their phones aren't working. As night falls, the trio discusses their options, only to be interrupted by a large screen announcing that the game is about to begin. An arrow directs them to the game arena, and they follow lights in the distance to a building. Inside, they walk down a corridor, unaware of the lasers on the walls. A sign instructs them to each take a phone, which activates with face recognition. The phones have no signal, and a countdown begins, signaling that the game will start in 2 minutes. Just then, Shibuki appears and throws an object at the lasers, revealing that trying to leave will result in harm. A high school girl then joins them, and the phones announce the first game, Dead or Alive. The game's difficulty level is 3 of clubs. They must choose the right door to escape the building in 2 minutes. The elevator takes them to another room where there's a door that says Live, and another one says Die. As they discuss what's the right answer, suddenly a toxic gas begins filling the room to rush them. The high school girl decides to cross the live door, only to be instantly killed by a laser. The others run through the die door right before the time ends, and the previous room is filled with flames. In the next room, the same doors and gas are waiting. Karubi opens the live door and nothing happens, so they run through it before fire appears again. Then they notice that in each room, the time to choose gets shorter. An argument breaks out about how to proceed, and Karubi punches Alice, which triggers a memory of their arrival. Alice recalls seeing a map on their way to the building, which showed 7 rooms, and he realizes they need to open the correct doors to escape. Using his skills and logic, Alice figures out the right moves and successfully escapes the game. However, in the process, Chota's leg gets badly burned. After stepping outside, the phones inform them that they've won, but they quickly notice how severely burnt Chota's leg is. On a nearby table, they discover the 3 of clubs card, which activates a 3-day visa on their phones, though they have no idea what it means. Suddenly, a bleeding man appears and says he's quitting the game because it never ends, no matter how many victories you achieve. Before they can react, a laser kills him, and the power goes out. This moment makes them realize that the visa indicates how many days they have left to live, and if they want more, they'll have to win additional games. Suddenly, a bunch of lasers appear all over the city, killing all the people whose visas expired. After the game, they go to a house to rest. In the morning, they notice that while all other electronic devices are non-functional, the radio is still working. There, Shibuki shares her story, revealing that she has been stranded there for 3 days and has already participated in 2 games. As they sit and discuss the mysterious disappearances and possible escape routes, Alice feels compelled to help his suffering friend. He decides to participate in another game that night, hoping to find a player who is a doctor and can assist with his friend's treatment. Karubi also joins him. Both of them arrived at the game building, where the game was about to begin. 13 other players were already present. Among them was a white-haired boy charging his device, and a girl named Yuzuha Usagi, an expert mountain climber who enjoyed working alone. The game, called Tag, was classified as Level 5 of Spades, meaning it required intense physical activity. The players had to avoid the tagger, find a specific room with a button, and press it to end the game within 20 minutes. If they failed to finish the game in time, the entire building would explode, killing everyone inside. As the game began, everyone spread out to search for the door on their own. The white-haired boy stood on the rooftop and waved at the others. Suddenly, the tagger appeared wearing a horse mask, marking the start of the deadly game. The tagger began shooting at everyone without hesitation. Alice noticed that the mask limited the tagger's vision to what was directly in front of him. He could not see to his right or left. Alice quickly informed the others about this. While Alice was hiding, he came across another player named Aguni. Aguni had a peculiar watch on his wrist and appeared to be a skilled fighter. He instructed his partner to distract the tagger and lure him closer. When Aguni's partner brought the tagger toward him, Aguni did not attack immediately, but waited for the tagger's bullets to run out. Unfortunately, the tagger killed Aguni's partner. Seizing the moment, Aguni quickly released gas on the tagger and attempted to kill him. Meanwhile, Alice noticed a door covered in bullet marks, but it was locked. He reasoned that if there was nothing behind it, the tagger wouldn't have fired so many bullets at it. The white-haired boy also realized this and joined Alice at the door. To their surprise, another tagger was waiting inside. The tagger tried to kill them, but the white-haired boy used his charged device to shock the tagger. However, the tagger quickly recovered and attacked again. In the chaos, Alice managed to escape to another room, where he found 2 buttons that needed to be pressed simultaneously. He called for help, and Usagi arrived. However, the tagger followed them and attacked Alice. Using the white-haired boy's device, Usagi shocked the tagger again. Together, Alice and Usagi jumped and pressed both buttons at the exact same moment, completing the task just a second before time ran out. They had successfully won the game. After the game ended, they removed the mask from the tagger and were shocked to discover that it was a woman. It was revealed that she was also a player, and her mission was to kill everyone. As Alice examined her, he noticed a collar around her neck. Moments later, the collar exploded, killing the woman instantly. A few moments later, Alice and his friend find a walkie-talkie on a dead player. Through the speaker, they hear a man from the other side calling the dead player to return to the beach. The boy with white hair picks up a piece of paper from the tagger, which has some lines drawn on it, and keeps it with him. After the game, when they return home and talk, Karubi tells them about the same message he heard on the walkie-talkie. Shibuki and Chota's visas were about to expire, so they had to participate in the next game. In the evening, the big screens announce a new game, and the group follows the lights to the botanical garden. These 4 had to play a game called Hide and Seek. To participate, they were given headphones and special glasses. The game's difficulty level was 7 of hearts. 1 person would be designated as the wolf, while the other 3 would be the lambs who must hide from the wolf. If a lamb was found by the wolf, that person would become the new wolf. The game lasted 15 minutes, and whoever was the wolf at the end would win, while the lambs would be killed by the callers. The game begins and Chota is chosen as the first wolf. He immediately panics and tries to remove his collar in a frenzy. Alice stops him because he is afraid that breaking the rules might kill him. As Chota looks up at his friend, the role of the wolf is transferred to Alice. They all realize that to become the wolf they must make eye contact with each other. When Shibuki becomes the wolf, she hides in a garden and plans to stay hidden for 15 minutes so she can win the game. But Karubi finds her and they get into a heated fight. Alice also arrives there and tries to stop them from fighting. In the chaos, he accidentally makes eye contact and becomes the wolf. Both Shibuki and Karubi surround Alice and are about to kill him. However, Chota arrives and interferes and tells Alice to run away. Alice quickly escapes and hides. After a moment, all of them start recalling their old memories. They remember the good times they had spent together and how lovingly they used to live. Now, because of this game, they had become enemies. Alice was crying as he remembered everything. He searched for his friends and called out to them, but no one answered because they all wanted Alice to win this game. Determined, Alice began looking for his friends. In the final 10 seconds, Alice found one of his friends. His friend thanked him for everything and apologized. When the countdown stopped, Alice watched in horror as his friend's collars exploded, killing all three of them right before his eyes. Devastated, Alice broke down and cried over the loss of his friends. The next day, while Usagi was searching for food, she saw Alice lying unconscious on the street. She picked him up and brought him to her house. Usagi preferred to live alone and stay isolated in her home. When Alice regained consciousness, Usagi explained why she had helped him. She told him that since he had helped her in a previous game, she was returning the favor this time. Usagi tells Alice that her father was an excellent mountain climber who loved climbing mountains. However, when he passed away, the media spread false news, claiming that he had taken his own life. She reflects that everyone will inevitably lose their loved ones one day, but that doesn't mean everyone should die with them. She believes death comes only when it is truly someone's time. Usagi encourages Alice and he listens to her. Alice decides that he will find the head of the game and avenge the death of his friends. However, their visas were about to expire, so that evening, the duo follows the lights, which lead them to a bus. They find 3 players on the bus who had already won 3 games. They had a strong friendship, but one player's leg was injured, and he was unable to walk properly. The name of the game was Distance, and the level of the game was 4 of club, which meant it was a teamwork game where everyone had to play together. In fact, the bus was in a tunnel, and they had to get to the other side. They had to reach their destination within 2 hours. If they didn't, they knew what would happen to them. They had an indicator on their phone that showed how much distance they still had to cover. They tried to drive the bus, but there was no fuel. So they all decided to run to cover the distance. The player whose leg was injured couldn't run, so he told his friends to go ahead without him. They didn't want to leave him behind, but there was little choice. After a moment, they left him behind and started running. When they had covered a distance of 6 kilometers, they encountered a black panther. The panther attacked them and ate one of the 3 players they had met on the bus. While the panther was eating their friend, the other 3 seized the opportunity and ran away. As they continued, Alice and her friends found a bike. The bike had fuel, but it was missing a battery. Alice decided to take the bike back to the bus so he could use its fuel to power the bus, hoping to save the player there whose leg was injured. Usagi and another player continued on, trying to cover as much distance as possible. They eventually reached the other side of the tunnel, but instead of an open sky, they found water barriers. As time was running out, water slowly began to flow into the tunnel. Both Usagi and her friend tried to escape, but unfortunately, her friend couldn't make it out in time. Alice arrived with the bus, and Usagi reached out her hand to Alice as she made it into the bus. When the water receded, they got out of the bus and noticed the word goal written on it. Alice grew concerned upon seeing this, realizing that the bus had been their goal all along, which is why the indicator had shown 0 kilometers. In the end, the 3 of them had won the game. After the game, Alice and Usagi were standing under a bridge. Alice told her about the beach, explaining that they needed to find the head of the game. After that day, Usagi and Alice continued their search for the head of the game for several days. During this time, Usagi taught Alice the ways of hunting, and their friendship grew stronger. One day, as they were keeping an eye on the players in the game area, they noticed the same strange watches on their wrists, the same ones that had been worn by Aguni and his companions. They realized that the people wearing these watches were part of a special group. As always, the group survived the game, and after it ended, they got into a car and drove off. Alice and Usagi decided to follow the car. They eventually arrived at a place where they spotted a hotel. They noticed something strange. While the entire city seemed to be without electricity, the hotel had power. Suddenly, someone approached from behind and knocked them unconscious. When they regained consciousness, they found themselves face to face with a group of people. One man introduced himself as Takeru Danma. He claimed to be the king of this place and said he knew the way to the real world. In the room, all the cards were displayed on the wall. Takeru Danma explained that everyone there was part of his special group. These people won games and deposited the cards in his collection. He further revealed that only the person who managed to collect all the cards could leave and return to the real world. He then informed Alice and Usagi that they now had to play another game. If they won, they would be required to deposit the card with him. He warned them of the consequences if they failed to comply, leaving no doubt about their fate. With no other choice, Alice and Usagi reluctantly agreed to his terms. When night fell, Alice and Usagi joined everyone to participate in 3 different games. In one of the games, a group was tasked with killing 4 wild animals. Aguni's team, armed with weapons, easily managed to kill the animals. On the other hand, Usagi's team was assigned a different task. They had to find a specific number hidden in a dark building. They were only given 9 matchsticks to light their way. Despite the challenges, Usagi successfully managed to find the number. On the other side, the real game was taking place with Alice. He was with a girl who was a surgeon and a member of Takeru Danma's group. The game they were about to play was called Light Bulb. All the players stood beneath transformers as water filled the tunnel. The level of the game was 4 of diamonds, meaning Alice and his friends would need to use their brains to solve the challenge. In front of them was a bulb, with 3 switches labeled A, B, and C. Their task was to figure out which switch would light the bulb. However, the real challenge was that the door to the bulb would close, and they wouldn't be able to see whether the bulb was lit or not. When a girl attempted to check the wires, she was immediately killed. However, Alice used his brain to solve the puzzle and completed the task. The surgeon, who already knew the answer, didn't say anything to Alice. She was testing him to see if he could figure it out on his own. After the game, Alice returned to the hotel, where he was presented in front of Takeru Danma. Takeru congratulated Alice and welcomed him to his team. Takeru revealed that his visa was about to expire, so he told everyone that tonight, he would go to play another game. Meanwhile, Aguni pointed something out to his teammates, hinting that something significant was going to happen that night. The next morning, as Alice was walking outside the building, he suddenly heard the sound of bullets. When he went to investigate, he saw Aguni's men disposing of dead bodies in the dustbin. At that moment, the white-haired boy appeared and told Alice that these were the bodies of those who hadn't followed the rules of the hotel. He also shared that he had a plan to escape. His plan was to first steal all the cards from Takeru Danma, as they couldn't trust him to actually send them to the real world. Alice agreed to the plan. After this, a meeting was called in the hall. Alice went there and discovered that Takeru Danma was dead. Aguni explained that Danma had been killed in the game. He then declared himself as the new king in Danma's place. When all the players learned that Aguni was now their new king and that Danma was dead, everyone was upset. Meanwhile, the white-haired boy sent Alice to Aguni's room with the task of stealing all the cards from his safe. When the white-haired boy gave Alice the password, Alice tried it, but it was wrong, and a siren started blaring. The white-haired boy had told the correct password, but Alice had gone to the wrong safe. As Aguni's men began beating Alice, Aguni stood calmly, looking at a deer painting on the wall. The white-haired boy quickly realized that the safe was hidden behind the painting. Meanwhile, Aguni's men tied Alice to a chair, and his visa was also about to expire. That night, the white-haired boy reached the safe, stole all the cards. As they were about to leave the hotel, they noticed laser lights everywhere. They quickly realized that the game area for the night was the hotel itself, and all the people inside had now become players in the game. An announcement echoed through the hotel, and everyone gathered in one place, where they found a girl dead. She had been killed with a knife. Suddenly, everyone received a message on their phones, informing them that they had to find the girl's killer. The game was called Witch Hunt. They had 2 hours to find the killer and burn them outside the hotel to end the game. Amid the chaos, everyone began accusing the dead girl's friend, believing she was the real killer since she had always been with her. However, the surgeon girl stepped forward and stopped them. At that moment, Aguni arrived and ordered his men to kill everyone. This threat caused everyone to panic, leading to chaos breaking out. Meanwhile, Alice was found by Usagi, who was searching for him. The surgeon girl, determined to find the truth, carefully removed the knife from the dead girl's body and examined the fingerprints on it, hoping to find a clue that would lead to the real killer. On the roof of the building, the white-haired boy met one of Aguni's men and revealed that someone among them was connected to the game master and had been leaking all their information. Hearing this, The man grew furious and aimed to shoot the white-haired boy. But before the man could act, the white-haired boy fired a flame gun at him, eliminating him instantly. Meanwhile, the surgeon girl had figured out who the real killer was, but before she could reveal it to everyone, some people caught her and knocked her unconscious. Aguni then gathered everyone. Alice, standing before them, boldly declared that Aguni was the real killer. To everyone's surprise, Aguni nodded and confirmed it. He openly admitted to killing the girl, but added that no one had the courage to attack him, leaving everyone too terrified to act. Alice says, no, and tells him that he didn't kill that girl, but he killed Danma. He explained that Aguni killed Danma because he believed Danma was the dealer who was manipulating the game and causing the chaos. Alice then says that the game master is still playing the game with them. The game master wants them to fight each other. He also adds that the girl killed herself. To prove this, the surgeon girl had come forward. Suddenly, the dead girl's friend claims that she is the dealer who has met the master. But before anyone could react, a laser light appeared and killed her mercilessly. One of Aguni's men arrived and started shooting at everyone, but Aguni grabbed him and threw him into the fire, where they both began to fight. Aguni managed to save everyone's life in the process. The rest of the group then took the dead girl's body, placed it in the fire, and burned it. With that, the game was finally over. As the hotel burned, everyone watched from a distance while leaving. Occasionally, we see the boy with white hair holding a 10 of Hearts card, and now he only needed a face card to finally escape from this place. The next day, Alice watched a video left by the dead girl, where she confessed that she was a game dealer and had known the outcome of every game. She had been instructed to make the game interesting. However, she also revealed that the moment she revealed her identity, both she and her partner would be killed. In the video, she showed a base, hinting at its importance. When Alice and Usagi went to the location, they were shocked to find many dead bodies scattered around. There, they encountered the boy with white hair, who showed them a piece of paper, identical to the one he had found in the pocket of the woman who had been the tagger. It turned out that the paper was a map leading them to this place. Before they could fully understand what was happening, the lights suddenly flickered on. On a large screen, they saw a woman from the same group who had once worked for Takeru Danma. She congratulated them for collecting all the cards and announced that they had reached the next round. If they managed to survive it, they would earn the face card. After this, they exited the building and saw a banner displaying a king's card. The banner was being rotated all over the city, and with that, the season ended.